Hello, friends, and welcome to episode 6 of Artifact Adventure. Hopefully you've been following along so far. If so, you will know exactly where we're going next. Off to the original first cave. Now, you might be asking yourself, if you haven't been following along or just, casually watching, why you went back to the first cave. Well, in episode 2, we found a staircase there, and that staircase led to a very difficult area, especially considering our characters were around level 3 at the time. But now we're pretty buff, and I think we might be able to find some treasure down here. All these enemies are super weak because we haven't entered the next floor. There's the son of the villager, still dead, hasn't moved. Little tragic if you think about it, nobody ever comes to bury him. Anyway, we're here in this cave, level 12 now, and there's a good find here. This is obviously an artifact. I switch over to Shams. I am Death's Path. Do you want to walk the part of the dead, like the grave digger himself? Death's Path. We got Death's Pact by picking him up. Doesn't matter which character you take him. It just goes to the key items. I kept this battle in because these guys were the ones that wiped our party last time. They're still a little tricky, but by no means, they're nowhere near as impossible as they were the last time we encountered them. But I want to talk a little bit more about this Death's Pact artifact. You might have noticed that a red cloud appeared here at the end of the dungeon, and I walked up to it and asked if I wanted to take that path, and of course I said no, because I'm thinking this is some kind of boss arena. He asked if I was sure if I wanted to take it. Turns out this is actually one of the most useful items in the game, and I would recommend, I would suggest, I don't know if I'd 100% recommend it, but if you're picking this game up for the first time, try and get down here and pick this guy up as early as possible. I didn't know at the time, obviously I'm playing this blind. I didn't know at the time what this item or this relic did, but it actually is one of the most useful ones thus far. You might ask yourself, perhaps you've asked yourself this many times playing classic role-playing games, what's the most difficult part of a dungeon? Is it getting to the bottom? Maybe. Is it fighting the boss at the end? Not always, because there's not always a boss, but oftentimes there is. And usually that's a pretty rough battle because you're worn down from making the journey into the cave. Or is the hardest part getting back out? Now, a lot of modern RPGs completely remove this element. You get to the bottom of the cave, you fight the boss, and boom, you're back in town celebrating, beer for everybody, hot wings on the side. Oh boy, you saved the village, here's your reward. But classic RPGs, and this game, obviously it's a new game, but it's emulating that classic RPG formula, don't take you out of the cave when you're finished. With this item, with Death's Pact, as far as I know, based just on what I've played so far, nearly every dungeon will have an exit gate that'll take you right back to the entrance. Super useful. And now we get back up here upstairs, and look, there's another death gate by the dead guy, and I'm thinking okay, so now I'm thinking Death's Gate lets you see into the soul of dead people? Maybe, you can go into their world, maybe talk to them about what happened before they died. Maybe that opens up a lot of new quests. Completely throwing all these ideas out in my head. Turns out, of course, that none of them are right. And it's just a teleport. From the exit to the entrance, it doesn't go both ways. You can only exit via the red, or enter via the red, and exit via the blue. So if you go in here, I can't access a menu, it won't let me go in. I'm pretty sure that's new. I'm like, what is this thing? Is it new? So, with that in mind, I end up going back to the first time. We did take quite a beating in that cave. And by the way, we're now at almost 5 minutes of this video. I've edited out probably 25 minutes of battles, and other this miscellaneous junk. So you're welcome. I'm saving your time. Saving a lot of time. costing myself time, but, you know, saving you guys some time. Because a lot of it's repetitive. You know, I enjoy this type of game. I enjoy the random battles and the hitting auto and watching my team wipe the floor with the enemies time and time again. But I figure you've probably seen enough of that. You've probably seen enough of that to last a lifetime. So I stock back up on herbs, and I'm thinking, like, what does this Death's Pack do? Time to explore town again. I can't tell you how many times I've wandered around this town and, like, edited it out. But this time I keep it in so you can see my usual exploration. Look everywhere, come down here. I speed this one up. Every time I go in here, I speed it up because holy crap, it's a long corridor. I'm looking for any more Death's Gates because at this point in time, I'm working on the theory that maybe anybody who's died leaves a spirit behind and you can talk to their spirit. Maybe there's something going on with that. Maybe there's kind of like hidden quests. You know, spoiler, there's not, as far as I can tell. It does exactly what I described earlier. It lets you teleport out of an area, which does save a lot of hassle. You know, I talked to the king again. He doesn't say anything new. Later on, we learn, thanks to the Key of Time, a lot about the king. We learn quite a bit more. But the king never changes his story. You know, you're like, hey, I learned all about your history. And he's like, go fight the Swamp King. Do it now. He's to the north. The swamp will take over our city. Like, yeah, I know, but I learned that maybe you fought the Swamp King in the past. Go fight the Swamp King. It's just, you know. Anyway, I've rethought my opinion on, I guess I should say rethought, but I've continued to evolve my opinion on the choices at the beginning of the game, and Key of Time is definitely the way to go. Unless those artifacts are amazing, which I haven't seen what they are yet, but unless those starting artifacts you can choose are downright spectacular, I think you made the right choice when you go with the Key of Time. So I test it here. I think I'm going to go into his dream. Turns out I just go to the exit. And there's no reason to go back to the second one because now I know. I've learned what they do. They teleport you from basically the dungeon's endpoint. And you might say, well, why was there one by that kid? Because that was the original endpoint for that dungeon. And so the developer even programmed it into the first dungeon, which makes me think that you would really benefit from picking that thing up early. So at this point, we're back to the fortress. Take a quick moment to save here, because you never know what's going to happen. And we're going to go do what I should have done a long time ago. We're going to go exploring. That's right. We're going to go wander the world map. Come down to this cave. I'm like, do I want to go in here? Do I really want to go in here? The door is locked. You can't get in here. The Key of Time will not open this door. There is a key that does, and it's actually not that far away. But that's for another time. I'm going to keep wandering here. I go up. I think like, okay, you know, over here there's a bridge. And the enemies up here are these guys. These enemies, we've seen them before. You probably haven't seen very much of them because I've cut a lot of them out. But they're about the same level of enemy we're fighting in the different caves. You might have also noticed a village to the left. Over here we've got another Shrine of Time. And I keep these guys in just to show how pathetically weak they are compared to us. And also, I did a lot of damage there. I think that's the power of the Flame Sword. Those guys might be weak to fire, and that might be why it does so much damage. So Key of Time, the first doom passed, a new world was created. Its creation fared poorly, same mistakes again and again. People had begun to rely on the power of the artifacts. Artifacts had taken root in the new world. The survival people were thrown into jeopardy by a single drop of poison. This is the overarching story of the game, which you don't get if you don't pick the Key of Time. So, like, why would you not pick the Key of Time? It's so essential to what is effectively the greatest part of this game, which is the story. Although I guess you could argue the greatest part of this game is the choices and the branching paths, the multiple ways to complete most side quests. Anyway, we go back in here, and just like before, it opens up a door. But I haven't found the third door, so I've clearly gone to these things out of order. No idea where that third door is. To this day, I still don't know where that third door is. And I'm a little bit farther ahead than what you're seeing here. So, we learn about the artifacts. They come from the sky. They're powerful. The world suffers like a mass extinction event. And the artifacts remain, or at least they come back. The poison comes back. The people never learn. Yeah, it's a story as old as time, basically. But here I notice a little village that I'd missed before. Come up here, check it out. There's our exit. It's not a village at all. It's a ruins. So we had heard a little bit about a ruined area north of Fortress, where one of the soldiers said he had lost a key. Now I decided to just kind of explore this place. Enemies are pretty weak. I figure we're supposed to be here. Come to these stairs. There's an exit gate, which means this is probably the end of the dungeon. So it's a pretty small dungeon, all things considered. Heal up thinking that this might be a boss kid. He wants healing water to give to his mother. And I don't have any, so I say, yeah, okay, I'll give you some. He says, I'll wait. So I leave. Obviously, you see a kid hidden away in a temple, talking with periods after every word. You assume he's probably a ghost, or maybe just demented. He can wait a day, so I rest at the inn, which is actually cheaper than the castle town. I didn't realize that at the time. Only 12 gold to sleep here, 20 to sleep in the home castle town. Buy some healing water. We have so much money at this point. And then the leather sells for another 3K. It's ridiculous. You spend so much of the early game scraping together enough to buy those keys from the cities, to get the relics, scraping together the money to buy the weapons, scraping together for healing herbs, maybe a couple revives from some harsh dungeon visits. Now, take a peek what happens here. I'm just let you watch. I make a wrong turn, and I can't find the stairs I took. So I come back around, and, this dungeon doesn't have a lot. There's not a whole lot of places here. I was thinking, did I go up and then turn right? Because I thought I just turned right, but there's no right. So where the hell did that where am I? In my mind, I'm literally confused. I'm lost. This is the guy that stole the key. He wanted to sell it to us, and I'm like, I'm not going to pay for it. And so he's like, I'll kill you then. I'm like, all right, you can try. Apparently, scoundrels, pretty common in the land of artifact adventure. Second scoundrel he bumped into. I'm not sure why there are so many bad people. Maybe the artifacts are poisoning the minds of people. The Swamp King has a miasma of mental destruction. I don't know. So we got the fortress key, not the same as the fortress warehouse key. So I can't use this key to go and get artifacts, unfortunately. Now I'm lost. I'm so lost. I can't figure out. I went there, I got the chests. And you gotta remember, I'm editing out battles and stuff. So I've been in here a good 10 minutes. Just kind of walking around, going to battle, walking around. I can't find that staircase. Where did it go? It's gone. It's gone. But then I remember somebody mentioned something about at nighttime, certain things are a little different. So I decide to look through our magic, find the sun and moon magic, which you might have remembered we picked up a long time ago, switch it to nighttime, and lo and behold, same spot as random battle last time. The staircase appears. So this was only accessible at night. There's your little hint, by the way, to check every place in the day and night. We got a big cauldron. You might remember somebody in the second town wanted a cauldron to, do his job. So I take that and we head back to that town using the warp papers, of course. And that's pretty much it for today. We're just going to deliver this and call it good. So first off, thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you've been enjoying the series so far. If you like what I'm doing, feel free to give it a thumbs up. Feel free to subscribe for more videos like this in the future. Down below, we've got a link. Go straight to the Steam page so you can pick this game up yourself. And I would recommend you try it and try making choices different than I make. There's also a link to the Playism page, which might be a better place to buy it, to be honest. The Playism page gives you the game DRM free, plus a Steam key. So feel free to check that out as well. And until next time, friends, do me a favor and stay classy. And I'll see you then.